Go Black Podcast.
Hello guys, and welcome back to another episode of Dope Black Dad. My name's Cameron, and today I want to talk about baby blues for the Mandem. So I bring this up because I've recently been feeling a little lonely and inadequate recently, and it made me remember a time I felt like this before. I'll be speaking freely here, no filter, just emotions and word vomit, I guess. So I apologize in advance, but today I need this, and I hope you can respect that. If you take something from this, amazing. If you were offended or upset, it is not my intention. And again, I apologize. This is just the baby blues for the Mandem. Our first child was planned, but God worked his magic way too quick. And in a hurry, I was like, huh? So when I found out I was, in one word, I was motivated. I was like, boom, this destination, let's go all in and have the best pregnancy journey, be all prepared, and, you know, let's parents the shit out of this child, you know what I mean? So I'm great at following steps, so ready to follow the book, to perfect parenting, being a supportive partner to my now pregnant wife, and trying so hard to clearly be the opposite of the stereotype attached to being, you know, a young black and soon-to-be dad. So if you're expecting if you're kind of expecting, there are books and there are people who you can kind of like help, but nothing is perfect. Advice, even paid for, it's just advice. Okay, so take it as just that. So the lead up to my first child, honestly, is a little bit foggy. She's 6 now, so I'm going to try my best to articulate the feelings and the processes for you. There is a few meetings you have to do throughout pregnancy stages, which my wife would ask me to come along to. And at first I was like, why are you asking? Like, of course I'm coming. Remember, I'm Mr. Motivated to be top dad, you know? So, but by the third session, the mood and motive completely switched. This is where I felt truly unnecessary. For sure, I was just so not up for it. I went from, you know, being super happy to go to just begrudgingly. I only went for her. At these meetings, they obviously do their job, you know, ask the questions. And I vividly remember at like not one of these meetings did they acknowledge my existence, let alone ask me how I was doing. I always describe it as like being seen as a piece of the furniture. Well, I'm not having the baby, so why should I care, right? Well, this is a first experience for me too. And even though I'm not physically going through stuff that affects babies, mentally I am. And not having a dad around in my childhood, I also was looking to ask them what is expected of me. How can I help my partner or the baby pre, post, and during pregnancy? Did I get a chance? No. And even till this day, I generally do not know why. Was it because it's all about her? Is it because I'm just the dad? Is it because I'm black? Whatever the reason, fathers should be included in the conversation, and advice should be given to fathers. Did I find a pamphlet about how to be a great dad or supportive partner? Of course not. How do they expect me to be Mr. Top Dad? So if I'm kind of asked what the NHS can do better to help fathers during, you know, the partner's pregnancy, I say support the supporters. Now that does not mean take away from the support the mother needs, obviously. But a quick 1-2 questions to check if my man is okay. It's just a polite start, and the pressure didn't stop there for me. And that was just the starting point, you know. And I'll be honest, this wasn't really a thing when having my 2. Kind of was for my second one, Elijah, who's now 4. But yeah, it wasn't really a thing. But I hear it's a thing now, and I blame reality TV shows to some degree. Don't feel pressured to give your other half a crazy present for pushing your child out. I know this is a very delicate subject, and please hear me out, okay? Because you should respect what she will go through. It is a madness, okay? The reason why men cannot handle this, okay? But what I'm leaning towards is don't financially cripple yourself. Do the best you can do, and don't let outside opinions of it, you know, the gift you decide to give her or how big the gift is, affect you. I know people who got cars, luxury bags, watches, jewelry, big brand name clothes, etc. You know, it's nice, But trust me on this. Support your partner and be financially smart. They are more important than the push present Instagram post. And babies are an increase in your expense for sure. Stay within your means, but also, I ain't condoning, being stush. If you got the bag, spend the bag, If you can afford to celebrate your partner, flex out on her, but not at the expense of your financial situation. You might need that in the best shape you can. You're having a baby and all. So, yeah. Now brace yourself as we dive into... Actually, no, that's the wrong words. As we are visiting the topic of the male birth, the male perspective. The male birth? The birth, the male perspective. So firstly, everyone is different. You could be at the holding a hand kind of supportively side of things, or you could be down at the busy end, shall we say. For me, the busy end was easier. Now, I'm quite a proud personality, and when I was at the hand-holding end, I felt pain and struggle, but I also felt pretty useless seeing, my partner in pain without being able to take some of that load or stop it straight up. When I was at the busy end, I felt a bit more engaged. I could, within reason, commentate the progress to my wife and to help her with, help her know it's worth it. And I got to witness the birth of my child, so it's a win-win. Obviously, if you're squeamish, this ain't going to be the one for you. But I couldn't think of anything worse than fainting on them in that room. But it does happen, obviously. So, yeah, find out what end you prefer to be at. Do you want to be at the end that's holding hands, or do you want to be at the busy end, as I've called it? Now, remember, this section is 90 to 100% all about her. And the other extra bit is obviously about the child, And if she wants you to handhold, do that. Even though it can feel like you're not doing anything or, you can't see how your presence is helping, it's needed. You will certainly learn that as your child grows up and you go to shows and recitals and plays and all that jazz. And you realize how being present is the ultimate present to your child 8 times out of 10. The other 2 is probably like sweets and gifts, of course. I'm not going to lie. Now, we can really get into what I want to chat about. The time I felt like tonsils. I know, I always come up with these weird kind of like, what's the word? These weird similes, is that the word? I don't know, weird stuff. Now, when a child is born, mothers can get this thing called baby blues, which by definition is a feeling of sadness or moodiness that many women experience after giving birth, lasting about 2 weeks. Now, believe men can get this too. I had a huge sense of being inadequate, unprepared, and feeling overwhelmed with life-changing responsibility. But being a, man and knowing baby blues was a thing literally by definition for mothers, with no mention of fathers, I felt I had to support my partner with her baby blues and just put mine to the side. I don't advise doing this. For the people in the back, I do not advise doing this. Supporting your partner can be feeling with them. You don't always have to be, the person to have your shit together. It's okay to not so much lose it, but to feel. Don't feel like you should put your feelings to one side, which is harder said than done. I know, I didn't, but find someone who can listen, not judge, and you can express your emotions too, because that was 100% needed when I finally got the chance to. And understand you're just not alone. It still is crazy that our actual biology and mental state gets dark, depressed, and I guess you could say negative at a time when I thought it was crucial to be positive, motivated, and happy. From day one, how are we going to raise a child to grow into a decent adult? The answer. Well, at least what I think is the answer. And let me kind of tell you in a bit of a story. So we chose to breastfeed, each their own, but we chose to breastfeed. And I'm very pro breastfeeding, but for me, obviously not my breast, obviously. But for me, what I'm about to talk about was also the reality, or my reality. when you have your child, all you want to do is be there. Love this new life and, just be a dad. But what does that look like to a 1 week old baby? Well, obviously, feed them, clothe them, change a nappy or diaper, as some people may call it, bathe them. Now, when a baby is born, its mother obviously changes her entire biology to help nurture that child. And I'll be honest, I got a bit envious of that. I felt like biologically she's obviously, needed. But am I needed on a base level? Like, am I needed? Especially coming from a single parent home and knowing my mum managed to raise 3 kids nearby herself. Why would my partner need me? Why does my baby need me? I wanted to not just feel needed, but actually be needed. Like, there's a reason I'm here that has to be there. And how do I put it? I always express it as I could be the one who was the pro at reading her cries or changing a nappy. I was so excited, honestly, to change a nappy. Like, that was my jump to the opportunity. Like, babe, the baby needs, got it, and I was already there, But really, anyone can learn to change a nappy, diaper or whatever, right? I somehow created this belief that I wasn't needed and easily replaceable, and that ate me alive. This is what I mean when I say I feel like not tonsils. You can have them, but do you need them? The first week, it felt like I was more needed for my partner than I was for my child, and it got to me, honestly. The question I asked, I still kind of ask my question, is that a bad thing? Like, to be needed by my partner and not so much needed, but, I'm there for my child, is that a bad thing? But when I had our first baby, kind of like post-baby checkup, I wanted to get A's in every category, like it was some kind of test. Some nurse was going to give me, and, like how to parent, this is what you need to make sure you're doing. And they come in and they're like, oh, you've done this, oh, amazing, you're great parents. But honestly, why am I like this, please? Because it's just so not necessary. So yeah, when you have your child, in the UK at least, I'm sure it's like this in most other countries, a nurse comes to your house to check up on your child's well-being and does a few checks and stuff like that. All good. And then towards the end, and actually kind of throughout, to be honest, she will check up on your partner. And not once on the several visits did a nurse ask me how I was feeling. And it again made me feel like my feelings just didn't matter. I'm a part of this child's life too, right? Why am I being just like left to the side? And I know it's not all about me, clearly, but there is a section that has to be about the father. I honestly believe that there is a section that has to be about the father. I am a part of this child's life. At the time, how did I deal with it? And I'll be honest, not very well. I sucked it up, carried those feelings in a bottle to kind of, sort out in a day or 2 weeks, multiplied by a year, plus soon, and then some, right? Don't do this. I do wish nurses could support us fathers too, and I hope it's changed now. But this is about what we can do. Talk. That's it. Talk. Speak to other dads, your partner, someone who has gone through what you're going through and made it out. They exist. Trust me, they do exist. I'm here. They exist. Have the dialogue, make the jokes, feel the cries. It's all good. If you're an expectant mother, I would say, and you're listening to this, I would say, check up on your man when you're in the moments of having it together. Because us men can, we can be a bit stubborn with our emotions, trying to be manly, whatever that means, and trying to be strong for you. So yeah, if you're an expectant mother, I would say, check up on your man, and especially in those moments, and just check he's okay. I'm telling you, the 3 best words you can say to any guy is, I'm proud of you. Guys, if you've ever heard your partner say, I'm proud of you, you know how that feels. Like, it just hits different. So yeah, expecting mothers, that's what I would recommend. To my expecting dads, I also want to say, if you're listening to these podcasts and surrounding your environment with father positive content, you already are a great father, or will be if it's something you're trying for. You are more than just tonsils. And by the way, having tonsils is actually helpful. I've just researched it. But yeah, seriously. You will fail. You will mess up. But success always comes in the form of a child's smile. Someday and many days on different days. And those are the days we go through all of this for. It is 100% worth it. Until the next one, I've been Cameron, and you've been listening to the Dope Black Dad podcast.